The rehearsal dinner at the Crystal Bay Resort was everything my sister Vanessa had dreamed of. White silk draping cascaded from 20-foot ceilings, chandeliers sparkled like captured starlight, and the ocean view through floor-to-ceiling windows was breathtaking. 200 guests would arrive tomorrow for what Vanessa had dubbed the wedding of the decade. I stood near the champagne fountain, wearing a simple navy dress I'd owned for 3 years. My outfit cost less than the flower arrangements on a single table. "Maya, what are you doing here?" Vanessa's voice cut through the elegant music. She swept toward me in a designer gown that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. "This is the VIP rehearsal. Family only." "I am family," I said quietly. "I'm your sister. You know what I mean." She lowered her voice, glancing around to ensure none of her wealthy in-laws could hear. "This isn't your scene. These people have standards." My fiancé Marcus had stayed home. He'd offered to come, but I'd told him it wasn't necessary. Now I wished I'd accepted. Having someone in my corner would have been nice. "Vanessa planned this event for 18 months, our mother said, appearing beside my sister. Mom wore a pearl-encrusted dress and had her hair styled in an elaborate updo. "The least you could do is not embarrass us." "I'm just standing here," I said. "Standing there in that outfit." Mom's nose wrinkled. "Darling, we talked about this. If you couldn't afford something appropriate, you should have said something. We could have loaned you money." "My dress is fine. It's polyester," Vanessa hissed. "Do you know what these people would think if they knew my sister wore polyester to my rehearsal dinner?" Our brother Derek joined the conversation, martini in hand. He'd flown in from Boston with his wife Christina, both dressed like they'd stepped out of a luxury magazine. "Maya, maybe you'd be more comfortable at the hotel down the road," Derek suggested. "The Holiday Inn has a nice pool. More your speed." "I have a room here," I said. "You have a room here?" Vanessa's eyes widened. "How did you afford that? These suites are $1,500 a night." "I managed." "Did you use credit cards?" Mom gasped. "Maya, you can't go into debt just to keep up appearances. That's so irresponsible." Christina, Derek's wife, laughed softly. "Remember when Maya worked at that coffee shop? She probably thinks this is fancy." "I worked there to pay for college," I said evenly. "Community college," Derek corrected. "Let's be accurate. I'd actually completed my MBA 2 years ago, but I didn't bother correcting him. They never listened anyway." Vanessa's future mother-in-law, Patricia Wellington, glided over. The Wellington family owned a chain of car dealerships across 3 states. Patricia wore diamonds that could fund a small country's education system. "Vanessa, dear, who is this?" Patricia's smile was polite, but her eyes assessed me like I was furniture she might purchase. "This is my sister Maya," Vanessa said, her tone apologetic. She's been going through a difficult time financially. We're very supportive of her journey." "How charitable of you," Patricia said. "It's important to help family even when they make poor life choices." I sipped my water and said nothing. "Maya works in hospitality," Mom added quickly. "She's very dedicated to her career path." "How wonderful," Patricia said in a tone that meant the opposite. "Service industry workers are the backbone of society. Someone has to do those jobs." Vanessa's fiancé Trevor appeared, looking like he'd stepped out of a yacht club catalog. "Babe, the photographer wants family photos by the terrace." "Perfect." Vanessa linked her arm through Trevor's. "Come on everyone. Maya, you can wait here. We'll do extended family photos later." "I'm immediate family," I said. "You know what I mean," Vanessa said. "We want photos that match. Aesthetic cohesion. You understand." They swept away in a cloud of expensive perfume and entitlement, leaving me standing alone by the champagne fountain. A server approached with a tray of canapés. "Can I offer you something, ma'am?" "No thank you." "Are you sure? The truffle pâté is exceptional tonight." I recognized him. His name was James and he'd worked at the resort for 6 years. He didn't recognize me, which was exactly how I'd planned it. "I'm fine thank you, James." He blinked. "Do I know you?" "Just a good memory for name tags," I said with a small smile. The rehearsal dinner continued around me. I watched my family laugh and pose for photos, drink expensive champagne, and treat the staff like invisible furniture. Vanessa held court at the center table, describing her honeymoon plans. 2 weeks in Bora Bora, staying at a resort that cost more per night than most people's monthly mortgage. And we're thinking of buying a vacation home, Trevor announced. Maybe something in Aspen. Or the Hamptons. Both, Patricia declared. Why choose? You're young, successful, and you deserve the best. Derek raised his glass. To Vanessa and Trevor. May your marriage be as perfect as this venue. Everyone cheered and drank. This resort is extraordinary, Patricia continued. I tried to book it for Christina's cousin's wedding, but they were fully booked for 2 years. How did you manage it, Vanessa? Vanessa preened. We knew someone who knew someone. When you have the right connections, doors open. And when you have the right budget, Trevor added. This weekend is costing us close to $300,000. Gasps of admiration rippled through the crowd. Worth every penny, Mom declared. My daughter deserves nothing but the best. I noticed the resort director, Michael Chin, standing near the entrance. He kept glancing my way, then at his phone, then back at me. I gave him a small shake of my head. Not yet. Maya, you're so quiet over there, Derek called out. Don't you have anything to say about Vanessa's beautiful wedding? It's lovely, I said. That's it? Just lovely. Vanessa laughed. Come on, you can be more enthusiastic. This is the wedding of a lifetime. The venue is very nice, I offered. Very nice. Patricia chuckled. Darling, this is one of the most exclusive resorts on the eastern seaboard. It's not very nice. It's extraordinary. The service is impeccable, Christina added. I heard they turn away clients regularly. Very selective. Only the best people, Trevor agreed. They have standards. The phrase hung in the air. Standards. The implication was clear. I didn't meet them. Maya, can I ask you something? Vanessa set down her champagne flute. Why did you really come this weekend? You know you can't afford to be here. You must feel so out of place. I was invited, I said simply. By obligation, Vanessa said. Mom felt guilty not inviting you. But between us, wouldn't you be happier somewhere more appropriate to your lifestyle? What exactly is my lifestyle? I asked. Oh, don't be sensitive, Mom interjected. You know what she means. You're struggling. There's no shame in that. But pretending to be something you're not, coming to events like this when you clearly can't keep up, that's just sad. Derek nodded. It's like bringing a Honda to a Ferrari show. Sure, it's technically a car, but... The comparison drew laughter from the table. I drive a Tesla, I said quietly. A used one probably, Christina said. Or leased. Everyone knows leasing is just renting for people who can't afford to own. I'd paid cash for my Tesla, but again I didn't bother correcting her. Michael Chin approached the table, his expression professional but his eyes apologetic when they met mine. Excuse me, Ms. Wellington, I wanted to confirm the final arrangements for tomorrow's ceremony. Everything better be perfect, Patricia said. We're paying enough for it. I assure you we pride ourselves on perfection, Michael said. However, I do need to speak with the actual booking party about a few details. That's me, Trevor said. Well, my father's company made the booking, but I'm handling the details. I see. Michael glanced at his tablet. And the name on the booking? Wellington Events LC, Trevor said proudly. My father's corporate account. We use it for all our major events. Ah, yes. However, there's been an interesting development regarding the property ownership that I thought the family should be aware of. Ownership? Vanessa looked confused. What does that have to do with our wedding? Perhaps nothing, Michael said carefully. But I did want to mention that Crystal Bay Resort recently underwent an ownership transition. The new owner has been very hands-off, but they did want to personally review any major events. Review. Patricia's voice sharpened. We booked this venue a year ago. Everything is confirmed and paid for. Yes, absolutely, Michael assured her. I'm simply informing you that the new owner may make an appearance tomorrow. Protocol, you understand. Who is this new owner? Trevor demanded. Some hotel conglomerate? Actually, it's a private individual, Michael said. Someone with deep ties to the hospitality industry. Well, they better not interfere with my daughter's wedding, Mom declared. We have a contract. Of course. Michael's eyes flicked to me again. The owner has no intention of interfering. Quite the opposite, I believe. Vanessa waved her hand dismissively. I don't care who owns it. As long as everything goes perfectly tomorrow. It will, Michael promised. The owner is very committed to ensuring this event is memorable. He retreated and the conversation moved on to other topics. The flower arrangements, the band, the custom wedding cake that cost more than a used car. I excused myself quietly and walked out to the terrace. The ocean breeze was cool, and the sound of waves provided a peaceful contrast to the chaos inside. My phone buzzed. Marcus. How's it going? About as expected, I typed back. Want me to come get you? No. I'm seeing this through. You're stronger than all of them. I smiled at that. Marcus understood. He'd understood from the beginning. We'd met 3 years ago at a hotel management conference. He was presenting on sustainable luxury hospitality, and I was there representing my newly acquired portfolio of boutique properties. We'd connected over coffee, talked for hours about the industry, and by the end of the conference I knew I'd met someone special. Marcus had been there when I'd made the offer on Crystal Bay Resort. He'd reviewed the financials with me, helped me negotiate with the previous owners, and celebrated when the deal closed 6 months ago. The entire transaction had been handled through an LLC to maintain privacy, something I'd learned was essential in the hospitality industry. There you are. Derek stepped onto the terrace. Hiding. Getting some air. Look, Maya, I'm going to be straight with you. He leaned against the railing. You don't have to stay for the wedding tomorrow. No one would blame you for leaving. In fact, it might be better. Better for whom? For everyone. You're clearly uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable watching you be uncomfortable. Just go home. Tell Vanessa you're sick or something. I'm not sick. Then tell her the truth. You can't afford to be here and it's embarrassing. Derek's voice softened slightly. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm trying to help you save face. I appreciate your concern, I said evenly. Do you? Derek studied me. Sometimes I wonder about you, Maya. You never react. Never get upset. It's weird. Would you prefer if I made a scene? I'd prefer if you lived in reality. He pushed off the railing. You're 32 years old, working some entry-level hospitality job, driving a used car, wearing cheap clothes. There's no shame in that, but there's also no point in pretending you belong in our world. Your world, I repeated. Yes, our world. Success. Achievement. Excellence. He gestured back at the resort. This is what success looks like, Maya. Maybe if you'd applied yourself more, made better choices, you could have had this too. He walked back inside, leaving me alone with the ocean. I stayed on the terrace for another hour, watching the waves and thinking about the next day. Part of me wanted to let it go, to just enjoy the wedding without revealing anything. But another part, the part that had listened to years of condescension and dismissal, wanted justice. Not revenge. Justice. There was a difference. The next morning arrived with perfect weather. Sunny, 75 degrees, a light breeze that made the silk decorations flutter beautifully. I watched from my suite, the owner's suite, though no one knew that, as the wedding preparations transformed the resort into a fairy tale. Vanessa had chosen white and gold as her colors. Everything sparkled. Everything shimmered. It was objectively beautiful and I was genuinely happy for her. Despite everything, she was my sister and she looked radiant. I dressed in a simple lavender dress, nicer than the rehearsal dinner outfit but still understated. I wasn't trying to compete. I never had been. The ceremony was at 3. By 2:30, guests filled the garden area, and the string quartet played softly. I took a seat in the back row as far from the family section as possible. Mom spotted me and frowned but didn't approach. Derek and Christina sat several rows ahead, pointedly not looking back. Patricia Wellington held court in the front row, her diamonds catching the sunlight. The ceremony began. Vanessa walked down the aisle on Dad's arm. Dad, who'd barely spoken to me all weekend except to ask if I needed money for gas to get home. Trevor waited at the altar, looking genuinely moved. Say what you want about their attitude, they did love each other. The vows were beautiful. The kiss was perfect. The guests applauded and Vanessa and Trevor walked back down the aisle as husband and wife, both glowing with happiness. The cocktail hour began immediately after. I made my way to the terrace bar, ordered a sparkling water and found a quiet corner. Maya. Michael Chin appeared beside me. We need to talk. Not yet, I said quietly. With respect, ma'am, yes yet. His voice was gentle but firm. There's a situation developing that requires your immediate attention. What situation? The Wellington party is questioning some of the charges on their final bill. Mr. Wellington Sr. has been quite vocal about what he considers excessive fees. He's threatening to dispute the credit card charges and leave negative reviews across multiple platforms. I sighed. What exactly is he disputing? The bar service, the upgraded floral arrangements, the late-night kitchen extension. All items his son specifically requested and signed for. But now he's claiming we're price gouging. I see. He's also being difficult with the staff. 2 servers have already come to me in tears. Michael's jaw tightened. He called Maria, who's worked here for 12 years, the help, and snapped his fingers at her. That decided it. Where is Mr. Wellington now? In the lobby, demanding to speak with the owner. Michael's expression turned wry. I've been telling him the owner isn't available. Tell him the owner will meet him in the executive office in 10 minutes. Michael's professional mask cracked into a brief smile. With pleasure, ma'am. I finished my sparkling water and made my way through the resort to the executive office. A space I'd redecorated 2 months ago but hadn't spent much time in. I preferred to manage my properties remotely, trusting excellent managers like Michael to handle day-to-day operations. The office was elegant but comfortable. Mahogany desk, leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, and a view of the ocean that had sold me on the property in the first place. I sat behind the desk and pulled up the Wellington account on my computer. Everything was in order. Every charge properly documented and signed for. Trevor Wellington had enthusiastically upgraded every aspect of the wedding, and now his father was having buyer's remorse. A knock at the door. Come in. Michael entered, followed by Preston Wellington, Trevor's father, a man in his 60s with silver hair and an expression of permanent irritation. Mr. Wellington, this is. Finally, Preston interrupted. I've been waiting for 20 minutes. Do you know who I am? Yes, I said calmly. Please have a seat. I prefer to stand. He planted his hands on my desk. Now about these outrageous charges. All of which were authorized and signed for by your son, I said, turning the monitor so he could see the itemized bill with Trevor's signature on each upgrade. Preston barely glanced at it. Those are excessive. We're not paying them. You already paid them. The final payment cleared 2 days ago. Then we're disputing the charges. My credit card company will handle it. You're welcome to try, I said. However, you signed a contract that includes an arbitration clause. Any disputes go through our legal process, which typically takes 6 to 8 months and costs more in legal fees than you're disputing. His face reddened. Are you threatening me? I'm informing you of your contractual obligations. I want to speak to the actual owner, not some manager. You are speaking to the owner. He laughed. You're what, 30? The owner of a $12 million property. 32. And yes. Ridiculous. He turned to Michael. Get me the real owner. Sir, Ms. Rivera is the owner, Michael said firmly. She acquired Crystal Bay Resort 6 months ago, along with the entire coastal luxury properties portfolio. Preston turned back to me, eyes narrowing. Rivera? That's the name on the documents I signed. R.M. Rivera Holdings, L.C., I confirmed. Rosa Maya Rivera. That's me. You're trying to tell me some 32-year-old woman owns this entire resort? 5 resorts actually, I said. Crystal Bay, Sapphire Shores, Diamond Crest, Emerald Point and Ruby Beach. The portfolio's current valuation is approximately $12 million, yes. The office door burst open. Vanessa stood there in her wedding dress, face flushed. What is going on? Dad, we're about to do the cake cutting. She stopped when she saw me behind the desk. Maya? What are you doing in here? Your sister, Preston said, voice dripping with sarcasm, claims she owns this resort. Vanessa laughed. Maya? She can barely afford her rent. Actually, I own my condo, I said. Paid cash 2 years ago. 1,500 square feet in Harborview. Nice building. You should visit sometime. This is insane, Vanessa said. Maya, whatever game you're playing. It's not a game. I pulled up the legal documents on my screen. I purchased Crystal Bay Resort through my holding company 6 months ago. The transaction was finalized in March. Michael Chin has been reporting to me since then. Michael nodded confirmation. Why didn't you say anything? Vanessa's voice rose. When I booked this venue, when I talked about the wedding, why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? I asked simply. Silence. Exactly, I said. You would have thought I was lying or delusional. So I said nothing. Mom appeared in the doorway now, followed by Derek and Christina. The office was getting crowded. What's happening? Mom demanded. Vanessa, the photographer, is waiting. She saw me behind the desk. Maya, this isn't funny. Get out from behind there. She claims she owns this place, Preston said. Don't be absurd, Mom said. Maya works in hospitality. Probably as a housekeeper or something. I work as a property owner and investor, I corrected. I started with a small bed and breakfast 8 years ago. Bought it with money I saved working 3 jobs during college. Renovated it, improved operations, sold it for a profit. Used that profit to buy 2 more properties. Then 4. Then 6. 3 years ago, I consolidated everything into a portfolio and began acquiring luxury properties specifically. Derek shook his head. This is a fantasy. Maya, if you owned hotels, we would know. Would you? I asked. When's the last time any of you asked about my life? My work? My achievements? Silence again. That's what I thought, I said quietly. Prove it, Vanessa demanded. If you really own this place, prove it. I picked up the office phone and pressed a button. Security, this is Ms. Rivera. Please bring the property deeds and acquisition documents to the executive office. I hung up. They'll be here in 3 minutes. The documents are kept in the safe. This is ridiculous, Mom said, but her voice wavered. While we wait, I continued, let me address Mr. Wellington's concerns about the billing. Every charge is legitimate and documented. However, given that this is my sister's wedding, I'm prepared to offer a gesture of goodwill. What kind of gesture? Preston asked suspiciously. I'll personally refund 20% of the total event cost. I typed quickly on my computer. That's $60,000. Consider it a wedding gift to Vanessa and Trevor. Vanessa's mouth fell open. 60,000. However, I continued, this is contingent on 2 conditions. First, Mr. Wellington issues a written apology to every staff member he spoke to inappropriately this weekend. Specifically Maria, James, and Keisha. Preston's face turned purple. I will not. Second condition, I continued calmly, the Wellington family agrees to treat service industry workers with respect going forward. Not just here but everywhere. Because those budget hotel jobs you all mocked? Those people work harder than most executives I know. A security officer arrived with a leather portfolio. Michael took it and handed it to me. I opened it, revealing the property deeds. Official documents with my name, my signature, my company. I turned the portfolio around so everyone could see. Coastal Luxury Properties LC, I read. Owner, Rosa Maya Rivera. Acquired properties include Crystal Bay Resort, Sapphire Shores Resort, Diamond Crest Hotel, Emerald Point Beach Club and Ruby Beach Boutique Hotel. Total portfolio value, $12.3 million. Total annual revenue, approximately $4.6 million. Total employees across all properties, 247. I looked up at my family. I own the venue where you're getting married, Vanessa. I own the resort where you're staying, Derek. I own the business that you've been dismissing as budget hospitality for years. Mom sank into a chair. How did you? Hard work, I said simply. Smart investments. Risk-taking. And most importantly, I stopped waiting for family approval and started building something myself. Why didn't you tell us? Vanessa whispered. Would it have mattered? I asked. Would you have treated me differently if you knew I was successful? Or would you have found other reasons to dismiss me? No one answered. The $60,000 refund offer stands, I said. Wedding gift. But the conditions remain. Written apologies to the staff and genuine respect going forward. Preston looked like he wanted to argue, but Patricia placed a hand on his arm. Preston, accept the offer. And apologize. Patricia. Apologize, she said firmly. Our son just married into a family with a $12 million property portfolio. Don't be an idiot. Despite everything, I almost smiled at that. Fine, Preston ground out. I'll apologize. In writing, I reminded him. Michael will provide you with the names and a template. Anything else? Preston asked sarcastically. Yes, actually. I stood up. Vanessa, it's your wedding day. You should be taking photos and cutting cake, not standing in an office arguing about money. Go enjoy your party. We can talk about all of this later. Vanessa started. Later, I said gently but firmly. Today is your day. We'll have time for family conversations after the honeymoon. She nodded, tears in her eyes, and left with Trevor. Mom and Derek remained frozen in place. You own all of this, Derek finally said. You actually own all of this. Yes. And you let us say all those things. I let you reveal who you are, I corrected. I didn't make you say anything. You chose your words. I need to sit down, Mom said faintly. There's a chair right there. I gestured. Michael, can you get her some water? Of course, ma'am. Christina spoke for the first time. You said you own 5 properties. Are you looking to expand the portfolio? I had to give her credit, she'd moved past shock directly to business networking. Eventually, I said. After I consolidate operations and improve profit margins on the current holdings. Derek's company does commercial real estate consulting, Christina continued. Perhaps we could. Perhaps, I interrupted gently, we could focus on the wedding for now. Business discussions can happen another time. He nodded, chastened. The office slowly emptied. Preston went to write his apologies. Mom and Derek retreated to process what they'd learned. Michael stayed behind. That was remarkably restrained, he said. Most owners would have had them thrown out. Their family, I said simply. Complicated, frustrating family, but family nonetheless. The refund was generous. 60,000 hurts, but it's worth it for the point made. I closed the property portfolio. Besides, Vanessa is my sister. I do want her to be happy. Even after everything she said? Even after. I looked out at the ocean. Success isn't about revenge, Michael. It's about building something that matters and being able to look at yourself in the mirror. Wise words, ma'am. My grandmother's, actually. She ran a small inn in Puerto Rico. She's the reason I got into hospitality. I smiled at the memory. She always said the best revenge is living well and being kind anyway. My phone buzzed. Marcus. How'd it go? I told them. And? About what you'd expect. But denial. Disbelief. Then acceptance. You okay? Yeah. Okay. Proud of you. Love you. Love you more. I returned to the reception an hour later. The party was in full swing. Music, dancing, laughter. Vanessa and Trevor moved through the crowd, both glowing with happiness despite the earlier drama. Vanessa saw me and immediately walked over. Maya, can we talk? Of course. We stepped away from the crowd onto the same terrace where Derek had told me I didn't belong. I'm so sorry, Vanessa said. For everything. The way I treated you, the things I said, the assumptions I made. I appreciate that. I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us? Any of us? I considered the question carefully. Because I wanted to succeed on my own terms. Without family expectations or pressure. Without people treating me differently because of money or status. I wanted to build something real. And you did, Vanessa said softly. Maya, $12 million. 5 resorts. 247 employees. That's incredible. Thank you. And I've been treating you like you were nothing. Tears welled in her eyes. I'm so ashamed. Don't be ashamed, I said. Be better going forward. That's all any of us can do. She hugged me suddenly, tightly. Thank you for the wedding gift. 60,000. Maya, that's so generous. You're my sister. I wanted to do something special. I love you, she whispered. I'm sorry I forgot that. I love you too. We stood there for a moment, 2 sisters reconnecting after years of distance. Come dance with me, Vanessa said. Please? It's my wedding and I want my successful, brilliant property owner sister to dance with me. I laughed. Okay. We returned to the reception together. Derek approached cautiously. Maya, I owe you an apology. You do, I agreed. I was a complete ass. About everything. The hotel comments, the used car joke, telling you to leave. He ran a hand through his hair. I thought I was so much better than you, and the whole time you were running circles around all of us. I wasn't competing with you, I said. I was just living my life. I know. That somehow makes it worse. He held out his hand. Can we start over? Hi, I'm Derek, and I'm an idiot who doesn't deserve his sister but hopes she'll forgive him anyway. I shook his hand. Hi, Derek. I'm Maya, and I accept your apology. Mom approached next, still looking shell-shocked. Maya, honey, I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything right now, I told her. Today is about Vanessa. We'll have plenty of time to talk later. But I need you to know, her voice broke. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so sorry I didn't see it. Didn't see you. I know, Mom. Will you forgive me? Eventually, I said honestly. But Mom, this can't happen again. The dismissiveness, the assumptions, the treating me like I'm less than. That has to stop. It will, she promised. I swear it will. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. I danced with Vanessa, with Derek, even with Dad, who'd been so shocked by the news that he could barely speak. Patricia Wellington made a point of introducing me to several of her wealthy friends as the brilliant young property owner. Preston kept his distance but did deliver written apologies to the staff, who accepted them with grace. By midnight, the reception was winding down. Vanessa and Trevor left in a shower of sparklers and rose petals, heading to their honeymoon suite, the owner's suite, which I'd arranged for them as an additional gift. I found Michael on the terrace, overseeing the cleanup crew. Successful event, he said. Very. I looked out at the ocean, dark except for moonlight reflecting on the waves. Thank you for handling everything so professionally. Thank you for handling your family with grace, he replied. Lesser people would have been cruel about the reveal. Cruelty is easy, I said. Grace is harder, but it's worth it. My phone buzzed again. Marcus. Coming to get you? Please. Be there in 20. I said goodnight to Michael and walked through the resort one final time. My resort. My investment. My success. And tomorrow my family would wake up understanding that the sister they'd dismissed, the daughter they'd underestimated, the woman they'd tried to exclude, she'd been the owner of their luxury venue all along. Not because I needed their approval. Not because I wanted revenge. But because I'd built something real, something valuable, something mine. And that was enough. The next morning I received 3 text messages. From Vanessa. Thank you for everything. The suite upgrade is amazing. I love you. From Derek. Coffee this week? I'd like to hear about your business. Actually hear about it, not just pretend to listen. From Mom. I'm telling everyone about my daughter who owns 5 resorts. I hope that's okay. I'm just so proud. I smiled and texted Marcus, I think it's going to be okay. Of course it is, he replied. You're Maya Rivera. You make everything okay. And standing in the morning sunlight, looking out at the ocean and the resort and the life I'd built, I realized he was right. I was Maya Rivera. Owner of Coastal Luxury Properties. Sister, daughter, fiancé. And finally seen.